Organ.
Everybody mispronounces it. They think I'm selling organs. No. Someone figured out how to monetize this code in a brilliant fashion. I mean, from a business perspective, I'm impressed. Managing your inventory isn't something anybody wants to do. It's very, very boring. I have tiers here and here and here. And then the sun collection hangs on the block. A UPC code is a product identifier code. So anytime you go to a Target or Walmart or Google, Facebook, I mean, you name it, she's a very big deal and an awesome human being. And she decided to partner with me, and that was 6 years ago. So it's been almost 26 years now that I've been in the eyewear industry. Yeah, I started really young when I was in high school, and it was my own optometry office actually. I had been just a kid in high school and I tore a contact lens and I went in to see my doctor and I started complaining about having to work in a retail shop. And she said, why don't you come work for us? And I started answering phones. And from there, they trained me to be an optician. And I think I was managing my first practice by the time I was 19.
Okay. Behind you, there are some sunglasses hanging. Is it a real one or is it like a wallpaper?
No, these are actually my personal collection.
Oh, wow. It's really nice. And how are they hanging? It's like on the blinds you are hanging it?
Yeah,
Is
so
it hanging?
if you can see, I have tiers here and here and here. And then the sun collection hangs on the blinds. So it's my own little mini optical shop.
So you are sitting in your office or it's your home?
This is my home.
Oh, I can understand your love for glasses.
It's pretty bad. It's this is just actually the collection that I keep in rotation that I wear. I have vintage stuff that I've collected over the years that I have put away.
Oh, okay. Great.
And then I later, after I graduated high school, I would go on and manage a practice while I was in college. And then I managed for several years all over California and Nevada. And then when my daughter was born, it was really important for me to have a more flexible schedule to be with her. And so I took on a position as a sales rep. And then from there is when I realized really how inventory was impacting not only just my day-to-day life as a sales manager and a buyer of frames and an optician, but it was impacting everybody. And I was in an office with a client of mine who was also a friend, and her husband had recently passed away and he was the doctor. And in California, only a doctor can own the practice. So when he passed, she wasn't able to maintain ownership of the business. So she was required to sell it. And in order to do that, everything had to be, profitable. It had to look good on paper. And inventory was a massive problem for her. So she reached out to me and asked for help. And I went in search of a program that would help her do that. And I couldn't find anything. The only thing that was available was really practice management software that had inventory almost as an afterthought. It didn't run, none of it really runs the way like a Home Depot store runs their inventory. That's an efficient inventory system. But what practice management is doing is very tedious. It's very time consuming. It's painful for a lot of people to deal with. And so they don't, or they trust their sales reps who are, as I know firsthand, commission based. There's no reason that we should be handling your inventory. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to find anything for her that would have been cost effective. So at that point, I just put together a bunch of spreadsheets and said, this is what you should be tracking. This is how I would do it. I helped a little bit and I trained her staff on how to do it. And when I came back a month later to check in on them, to my absolute shock, they were like, it's fun to be able to help and to have this much control. And that was just on a book of spreadsheets. So at the time, I had been associated with a nonprofit organization here in San Diego I was doing some volunteer work. And during one of our meetings, I was working, everybody was sitting around arguing, and I was working on my spreadsheets for this client. And this woman who I kind of knew, but not really through the nonprofit organization I was affiliated with, she turned out to be a software architect who specializes in data science. And that's Amy Brown of Data Query. And she had just branched out on her own. She has a serious background in HIPAA compliance. She's worked for Aetna, Google, Facebook. I mean, you name it. She's a very big deal and an awesome human being. And she decided to partner with me. And that was 6 years ago. So we've been building an inventory management system that's independent of any practice management software. And it's very affordable. And not only does it allow independent doctors to manage their inventory, but we also created, because it was kind of a necessity for my job at the time, to be able to work remotely with vendors. So, and then COVID hit. And so that was a very big part of what we needed. And so we developed that out. So now the program has the ability to create purchase orders with any participating vendor at no additional cost. I'm representing ProDesign, Woow, Nifty's, and INFACE in Southern California. And I've been a big fan of Design Eyewear Group for a long time. Woow is fun, it's funky, it's wild, it's very bold. And ProDesign is a little more subtle, but still fun. This is actually Liebach in York. So my husband represents Liebach in York in California, Nevada, and Arizona. So this is one of. Yeah, so my husband and I are partners in pretty much everything that we do. So you'll see him almost everywhere. He's on the organized website. We're very tied in to selling product for each other and with each other. He attends the Vision Expos.
Great, great, great. So, how has been your experiences working with other companies like Luxottica, Mondatico, and then this one? I think that for Luxottica, you worked really for a shorter time.
I was with Luxottica for a very short time. I did not love the high pressured sales. I did not love the race to the bottom line and the focus on profit over patient. And that wasn't something that I've really been accustomed to since I started my career with independent opticals. Going corporate was very difficult for me. So I've really tried to focus on the independent channel and stay in that space because I think it's more about quality products and quality patient care as opposed to how much money can we make today. It's very, very
Yeah,
difficult to stay competitive in a market where Luxottica is just dominating at every sector. And since the Essilor partnership, it's even more hard. It's even more difficult because
yeah,
now
right,
they
right.
have to contract with Luxottica Labs and they have to carry Luxottica product and they have, certain minimums of each brand that they have to carry and they're incentivized to keep bigger and bigger of those. So essentially, if you're not careful, the independent doctor becomes a Lens Crafters or a Sears Optical, depending on where your market is. So a lot of doctors, what I'm seeing, are very focused on, rather than providing just the same thing all the time, they're more interested in focusing on independent brands, niche brands that people don't see every day, like Liebach in York, Casanova, ProDesign, Fossifos. Um, and so by giving their customers something else other than what's available everywhere, and then also by hiring very skilled opticians who know not only how to not sell to the patient in a way that is traditional, but to really identify what the patient needs and to focus on fulfilling those needs based on quality products as opposed to just here's a pair of glasses we hope you can see.
So, if you can tell me more about your own startup which you are doing within the org organize. How do we spell
Organized.
it? Organ
Yes,
organ.
everybody mispronounces it. They think I'm selling organs. No, it's organized. And we really just created the product because we wanted people to be able to stay competitive with big box retailers. We wanted, we know I'm a small business owner. I have been for a long time. So I know that every penny in a small business matters. It's not like you don't know how much you're spending on advertising, or you don't know what your payroll taxes are. You have to know. And everything you do in that store matters because the profit margins are so thin. So we really wanted to create a product that would be able to help our doctors stay more focused on their patient care and less focused on the tedious day-to-day task of managing their inventory, which if you don't, can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. I mean, just in the time alone it takes your staff to put in one piece at a time into your practice management software is, I've had people cry, really cry in my arms because they're getting boxes of frames 50, 60 pieces at a time, sometimes 100 pieces at a time, and they're having to manually enter those in one piece at a time, which can take days. And once they're entered, they then have to go and tag this product by hand. Can you imagine telling a 25-year-old who has never seen a pen in his life that he now has to write on 500 frames? It's very painful. And when you're talking about, a seasoned optician who's a licensed ABO who commands a pretty decent salary, that is an extraordinary waste of their time and your money. And so we really wanted to make this accessible to everybody. We wanted our sales reps to be able to use it in the field with their own products. We wanted manufacturers who are overseas, who maybe don't have a sales force in the US, to be able to connect their incredible independent brands with retailers in the US without having to have, boots on the ground. So that's what we did. And I think we did a damn good job. It's a pretty great program.
Okay.
Previously, they've had to depend on companies that are selling them UPC codes, which has been very difficult because that's an expense that shouldn't be an expense. A UPC code is a product identifier code. So anytime you go to a Target or Walmart or anywhere, and you scan that product has a unique code, and it is universal. You sell a pro design in India and it's the 3616, and you sell that pro design in Canada and you sell it in the US, that is the exact same product code. So when you get your frames and they come on the bag and they have that barcode on them,
Yeah, right. Yeah, they
that's
have
your
it.
UPC code. So if you scan that
Okay.
barcode, that's your UPC code.
Okay. So with your software, anyone can scan that barcode and automatically he will able to find out the model number, color, and size and all, correct?
Only if you have access to the program. So one of the things that
Ah,
we
of course.
wanted to do was we didn't want to cause any more headaches for our customers. And so by, having a QR code where a customer can scan a product and then see across the internet where it's being sold and where they can find it cheaper, that really undercuts our customer and their ability to, profit in that space. So we wanted to make that easier for them. So if you scan the organized barcodes, what you're going to get is you're going to get a little pop-up that brings you to our system. And if
Okay.
you have a login, then you'll log in and it'll take you right to that product and it'll show you all the data that you want. If you don't have a login, then it takes you to a little pop-up and says, uh-oh, you don't have a code, you don't have a login. And so it doesn't
Oh,
give you that product information.
okay. Okay, okay, nice. Okay, so I believe there would be, I think about millions of codes, such codes.
Oh yeah. Oh, almost every product that we deal with has a code. And I have a roll of them. These are actually headed to a customer today.
Okay,
Um,
correct, correct.
Managing your inventory isn't something anybody wants to do. It's very, very boring. Nobody in the world wakes up and says, "Yay, inventory." Nobody. Not
Right,
even me. So
agree.
nobody really thought about how to make this an easier process and streamline the process. So that's what we've been doing for 6 years, is just really listening to the pain points of the opticians and the optometrists and the sales reps and the vendors that we're working with, and find out what really hurts and how can we fix it with software. Because we should all be out there doing what we do best, which is taking care of our patients and helping them see better. not counting frames and tagging products.
Okay. Okay. Nice. This was something interesting. I didn't knew that what's the use of those codes. I tomorrow definitely once I go to store, I will definitely find out that what's the code
Are you
written on
doing
that.
inventory in your stores?
I am doing it manually since I just have two stores, so I can manage it manually. I'll just put it on an Excel sheet and I'm doing it. And I checked in your website and I've done a login and all just to check the pricing and all. If you talk about India for an independent store, it's a bit expensive.
Uh,
I think
we
I think
listed we listed it as expensive for right now because we really want to be able to control how many users are using, because we want to be able to really give everybody the attention that they deserve. And with a small team right now, we don't want to take on too many people so we don't overpromise and underdeliver. But if you want to use it yourself, you're welcome to go to that website. And when you get to the paywall, if you type in, wipe out the fee completely and you can start using it for free.
okay. I hope I should not upload this on social media.
you
Okay.
can you can say that there are discount codes for people who would like to access the program and it's outside their price range. They can contact us for a code and we will make sure that it's affordable within their budget. And
It's
if
really
for some reason your store is, the victim of a burglary and you go to file a claim with your insurance, the first thing they're going to ask you is what was your product worth? And if you don't know that, then you're seriously unable to maximize the benefit of your insurance
benefit of the
because you have
insurance.
no idea what inventory you really had.
Correct. 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 Okay. Great. What exactly is happening in the Omniverse city? Have you been there before? Have you done an
This will
event?
be my first Omniverse show. I'm very excited to partner with Charlene.
Okay.
We are so thrilled to be a part of this. It's very exciting and it's a lot of fun. And I think that one of the things that people really don't understand is really how easy it is to use. People get caught up in the jargon of metaverse and avatar, and they're
Yeah.
kind of intimidated by the language. But once you get
Correct.
in there, it's really easy. Have you logged into your account and created your avatar?
Yeah, I did it along with Shedline only. So after the call, I think our call went about this recording went for about 40 minutes, but then after that we had a discussion for almost 1 hour. So in that discussion, she had done a screen share and all, and it looked such an amazing stuff. And you are right, for us also means since you are based out of US, so I'm quite sure for you all these jargons are really common. But if we talk about India, and since I'm not from a tech background, for me this was like very much flashy, so it was like I can't even know what is a metaverse or what's an AI and virtual reality and all. But once you go into that Times Square, then you are able to understand acha, what is happening. So it was like amazing. I'm really lucky that I was able to get time from her and a demo also, because otherwise for me it would have been something alien if I
I
would
think
not have been there.
I think a lot of people have that experience where they're like, this language is just so strange and I don't know what I'm doing and I don't even want to try because tech is not my thing. But it's more like a video game than
Right.
anything else. And it's a lot of fun. I don't know if you've ever played, Roblox or Fortnite, but these games can be addictive where you get in there and the ability to buy things for your avatar or even buy things for yourself in real life is so much fun. And so the fact that she took, a Vision trade show and she turned it into essentially this interactive video game where we can come together from all over the world, access brands and products that we would never be able to touch in physical space is such an incredible thing for our industry as a whole. I think it's going to really empower a lot of independence in every part of the industry. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Thank you. Thanks
Have a
for
good
your
rest of the
time.
evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.